Morning Drive on YouTube is brought to you by Cintas.
Hello and welcome to Morning Drive on YouTube. Come on in to Studio AP. Anna Whiteley, delighted to be alongside Damon Hack. We are talking all things Augusta National and the build-up to the 84th Masters Tournament. We've also got alongside us Paige McKenzie and Robert Dameron. Guys, let's talk a little Bryson DeChambeau, shall we? Because the golf world was buzzing yesterday about the practice group of Tiger Woods, Justin Thomas, Fred Couples, and the man that many have among the betting favourites, Bryson DeChambeau. Bryson, of course, broke through for his first career major at the US Open at Winged Foot and is making his third start in the Masters as a professional this week. He also was the low amateur at the Masters back in 2016. But it is fair to say that this start at Augusta National is sure to look a little bit different for Bryson. Just take a look at these numbers. So courtesy of Carl Paulson, who is co-host of Inside the Ropes on SiriusXM's PGA Tour Radio, DeChambeau played a practice round last week with 1988 Masters champ Sandy Lyle, who thankfully recorded the clubs that Bryson hit into several greens at Augusta National. So he hit wedges or low irons into all of these holes and didn't need anything longer than a 7-iron to reach any of the par 5s in 2 shots. So Robert, this is going to be fascinating, probably something like we've never seen before. Which hole are you most interested to see Bryson's strategy on this week?
There are a few. I think the obvious one is 13. Can he hit it high enough to go over the trees on the left, or can he blow it past the trees on the right and go over into the 14th fairway? Number 8, I think, is interesting because the 2 bunkers on the right side of the fairway, if he can blow over those, then you've got double-sized fairway, and you can get on the right side coming into that left green. But mostly I'm thinking of 18. So you've got this hole that forces you to fade it off the tee, start it at the bunkers, work it to the right, and hopefully get it in the middle of the fairway. He may not have to work it to the right. He may be able just to go straight over those bunkers, hit it over near the 9th fairway, and come in with a L wedge from there.
Yeah, and I think, Damon, this is where we're starting to see what the power can do. And we've seen it throughout the years on the PGA Tour, where some golf courses almost seem obsolete because they are able to change the routing with how the players are able to hit, how far they're able to hit. But Augusta has stood some of the test of time on that, because while they've hit longer off of the tee, you're still playing the golf course as the architect intended, hitting those, hitting the same fairways and same greens. But what Robert's suggesting and what may happen this year is outstanding in that we might see Bryson DeChambeau completely change the routing on a couple of these holes.
He's mentioned that he might play 13 from the 14th fairway, for example. I mean, listen, Winged Foot was supposed to be more of a constricting test. He was able to hit the driver at will, strong enough to get his ball out of that rough. The second cut just isn't going to be as penal at Augusta National. It never is. I think he's going to play with a lot of freedom this week. He has a major championship in his hip pocket by 6 shots. A national championship at that, a U.S. Open at Winged Foot. That's history right there. And now he comes to Augusta National with all this attention on him. He's talked about wanting to get longer. He was hitting at 20 past JT, according to reports, 40 past Tiger, a Walmart pass Fred Couples. I think Bryson DeChambeau is the man of the moment. He knows it. He loves it. He wants to put on a show this week. He wants to win a green jacket. He also wants to put on a show and swing from the heels. He's put the video on for all of us to see, Paige. I imagine he's going to do just that.
Yeah, and I look forward to that. The difference, though, that I see not only is the second cut in the rough from U.S. Open to Augusta, it's the required shot shaping. And Winged Foot, they have a lot of straightforward tee shots where you're not seeing a lot of movement from right to left or left to right. That's the opposite here at Augusta, where you're going to see players forced, and Bryson in particular, as long as he is, forced to move it left to right, right to left. How do you think, Robert, he's going to handle that?
Well, there is a difference between speed and muscle, and he's got both now. But the muscle, no question, helped him out of the rough at Winged Foot. There's no doubt that just the raw power and lifting those heavy weights did it. We have second cut at Augusta. That's not the issue there. So you're right. He is going to have to work it more often. Off the tee, I think we're going to see probably more 3-woods than we think we're going to see. When I saw him in Las Vegas, every time he pulled a 3-wood out, that was the last tournament he played, every time he pulled a 3-wood out, it was a wide draw. It wasn't like a little baby falling left. It was a good wide draw. So I got to think he was planning for that. He's not the most comfortable moving his irons left to right or right to left, just slight kind of fall one way or the other. So he's still going to have to put himself in positions to where he doesn't have to work it a lot in for his second shots. But I can't, honestly, I can't remember the last time I was so excited to see how a player approaches a golf course as I am this week at Augusta.
Not much
DeChambeau.
excites you, Robert Damron. So
Nothing.
That is saying a lot. But, when we talk about Bryson, we talk about power and we talk about the muscles and the gains that he's made physically and bringing winged foot down to its knees. But, you can't just win these events through power. It's the full game, Robert. And I know you've been kind of delving into his putting stats because obviously the greens at Augusta National are famously quick, famously undulating and tough. He's going to have to putt well. And do you think he's got that in the bag this week?
I think that, again, you mentioned the statistics. Last year, strokes gained putting across the tour, he was 10th. Obviously not known for his putting. He uses a 60-degree L wedge that's, the length of all the other clubs. It's very long. It's very upright. Yet he was top 10 in sand saves.
That's incredible.
For the season. It goes against what you would think. You think Seve getting really low hands and skipping under it. So he finds ways to do what he has to do to get it in the hole. And of course, we're lost in the distance and the strategy, but he's not going to win if he doesn't make putts. And he's got to putt not just okay, he's got to putt really well, but the stats show that he's capable of putting really well.
The stats show, and the trophy case shows, that he's underrated in a lot of aspects. I think that the driver gets all the attention because it's what works for social media, it's what works for us. The whole chicks dig the long ball ad from back in the day in baseball. But Bryson DeChambeau, I think, is an underrated putter, underrated short game. It might be the weaker part of his game, but it's something he has worked on and improved quite a bit. And I remember standing on the range with him at the Floridian years ago and watching him hit shots and shape shots. And I think you talk about the strength that he has, I think his mind is strong as well. I think there's something that he has that reminds me of Phil Mickelson. Of I know something that you don't know. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to really kind of bode well for him as he kind of tries to solve another puzzle. He not just solved the puzzle at Winged Foot, he absolutely destroyed the golf course. I think he gets motivated, he gets energy from the task and the test that is Augusta National. He's going to try to solve this week.
You feel like, Paige, that is the attitude that Bryson has had his whole career. He feels like he's the smartest man in the room and that he can conquer the mystery that is golf, that so many hundreds of players that have not been able to over the years. But, he's now going for back-to-back majors, which is something that many players will ever have the opportunity to do. And he's going about it in a way that we have never, ever seen before. If he picks up the green jacket this week, what kind of a statement is that for all the work that he's put into this?
He's not, I think for him, he's always trying to find an edge, right? Every player out there is trying to find an edge. For him, it was always his mind until his body has now caught up. And now that is exactly why he is a head and shoulders above everybody from a distance perspective and translating that into success. If he were able to pick up another major championship, I think it only continues to solidify what I felt like from the beginning of this experiment, which is it could change the face of golf for the next decade or two as more juniors choose to train this way. I don't know if it's going to affect the immediate future, although we've seen players tinker, but I think there's significant evidence that would show that junior golfers are going to be starting to train differently because of what they've seen Bryson prove.
But Bryson has done things differently than even what we teach junior and young golfers, which is go hit it hard, we'll figure out straight later. Bryson was straight. That's right. What his swing is built on. That's what all the swing, the kind of different swing that he's designed was built on straight. Then he added speed. That's very backwards in logic, and that's going to be tough to teach a little kid, hey, we're going to go straight first.
Yeah.
They don't want to do that. They want to hit it hard, and that's fine. So I think we can see some transformations to the game, but I don't believe he's going to be this transformative player. I don't think we're going to have to change maybe the golf ball, maybe some of the courses, but I don't see a rash of juniors coming out playing, swinging exactly like he does.
No, I agree. I think my point is that the physical training side of it, we've had a massive evolution in golf in how players train physically. And a lot of it right now in the last 5 to 7 years has been on mobility, flexibility, which is all very important. But now I also think it's going to be on how do you create so much speed that you'll be able to pick up distance. And so that's where I see it, is just how they might physically hit the gym differently now seeing the results that Bryson's had.
May get the attention of a handful of players, as Paige said, maybe in the junior ranks. It will definitely get the attention, I believe, of the governing bodies. I just received a text message from a major champion who said one way to address this issue perhaps is to make a uniform tee of 2 inches, so players like Bryson and Rory can't swing 7 degrees up on the driver. So maybe it won't be the ball, or maybe it will be a combination of ball, tee, club, who knows. But should Bryson DeChambeau go out to Augusta National and destroy it this week, it's going to get the attention of everybody, all of the stakeholders in this game.
Are we looking at a future world number one?
If he wins this week, there's no doubt.
Yeah, wow. I mean, the golf world is racking their brains as to how they can rein in Bryson DeChambeau, but I don't think he can be reined in, and hats off to him because he has worked so hard to get himself in the position that he is in. But we are back tomorrow on YouTube, so come and find us again. You can subscribe to our YouTube and across all of our social media handles, so we look forward to seeing you there, and have a wonderful day. It's bye from us.
Morning Drive on YouTube is brought to you by Cintas.